delighted to be here today. And today we want to help bring attention to the contributions women have made in business, in healthcare, and the commitment that AstraZeneca has placed on advancing gender equity, empowering women, and inclusion and diversity.
Having a happy marriage with 3 children and a, sort of meaningful career, making a difference, that's super meaningful to me. And I think that's, it has nothing to do with my rank and file. I could be an engineer in the field, and I would say the same thing.
I think the greatest achievement is the ability to still have a bit of fun along the way, right? Because these are all very challenging jobs. There are times when they were stressful for all of us. The ability to have a bit of fun, this is one of the reasons why I like the dancing at the sort of work and I've introduced it. Ability to have a bit of fun along the way and keep that sense of proportion and not take yourself too seriously.
On one side, it's kind of impact, what is the impact of whatever you are doing? And it doesn't matter whether that is on the business or on the kind of people you work with and, how impactful you are helping or allowing people to do their best or having an impact on your family or friends. And I tend to kind of measure success by kind of looking at kind of so what and what was the impact of whatever has been done. And usually I'm a worse critique of myself. So if I think something is good, then I think it's really good. But then on the other side, and this is where I want to build on Susan's point, my second perspective is like, you need to enjoy it. I don't think that any of us really can spend so much time and put so much effort on the work if you don't really truly enjoy it.
One of the most difficult decisions I've had to make is actually change people on your leadership team or change people on the team who were maybe not the right people for that stage of the company. I loved them. They were great people. They were, very good at their jobs, but, companies evolve. And the one piece of advice that I got at that time, and literally I had to, make a change, and I was crying myself because of it. But the one piece of advice I got during that time was, in some ways you're doing that other person a favor, and they may not realize it right away, but they will, in a year or 2 years, whenever, they will actually realize that that was the best decision for them as well to get separated and go their own way. Believe it or not, like this particular situation, that's what it turned out to be. And the person, is CFO now at another company, and I'm really, I still tend to stay in touch with them, and I'm really proud of what they've achieved. But that was a very, very hard decision.
For me, a really tough decision was actually changing roles. And it was tough on a professional and a personal level. At every point in my life, when I have been faced with the choice of the comfy and secure decision or the scary big decision, take the scary big decision. Do that thing that you're afraid of doing, because it will be such a fantastic growth opportunity no matter how it turns out. And I think of it like the scientist that I am, right? When I'm growing cells in the lab, I can grow cells and they will be in log phase growth, and they will double and double and double until they run out of new growth factors, new nutrients, and then they stop growing and they just sort of sit there. And you got to take them out and put them in a bigger beaker, and then they will grow and grow and be in log phase growth again. So I think you should, at various points in your career, ask yourself if you're in a big enough beaker. I am consciously aware that we are good at our jobs, not despite the fact that we are women, that we are, the children of aging parents, that we are parents, that we are, whatever, little league sports coaches. I think we're great at our jobs because of all of those things. And that when we work in an environment where you get to bring all of that with you to work, and that is appreciated and celebrated, then you bring your best self to work and you can put your heart and your soul into it. I think that, broadly speaking, women tend to be more conscious of that diversity of life experiences than some of our male colleagues are. And it's not that hard a shift to make. And so if we just make those expectations more public, then it's a pretty easy change in mindset to bring to an organization.
I don't like to generalize, but I can share what the research are showing, because as part of my PhD work, one of the variables I was moderator variables I was looking at was a gender. And actually what research is showing is that there is a difference, and that is at the level of, specifically at the level of empathy, loyalty, collaborativeness, and overall, women tend to have a higher or stronger emotional intelligence variables when you compare in the research setup, the women and men in work.
I am a huge admirer of Claudia Goldin, who, as I mentioned, was the Nobel laureate for economics this year, because over the course of her career, what she has tried very hard to address is what is the cause of the earnings gap for women. And what she has found is that it's really this concept of time poverty, that women disproportionately carry an unfair share of the burden of caring for their families, and that has an impact on their ability to succeed and earn at work. And what she says ultimately is, we're not going to solve the pay gap until we solve for equality and equity within our own families. And so my family hears this a lot, but I think it really teaches us about being intentional about where we spend our time.